Mariners are off to a bit of a rocky start, but it's not all doom and gloom. There are some negatives, sure, but there's positives, and there's a lot of stuff to look forward for. They're currently 6-8, and we believe they'll be over 500 soon. Hopefully. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Sogcast. I'm Patrick.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Garrett.
The Mariners, little rocky start. They had a nice game yesterday on Friday. The first good game. Really fun game we've
Best
had.
win we've had so far.
But before we get to that, we'll give you guys a quick little recap of what's happened in the past week.
Let's go through the week.
Yeah, we're going to start last Sunday. We were still playing the Brewers. That was the last game of that series, the rubber match. And we ended up losing the series 2-1. We lost that game 12-4. It was not very nice.
That was not fun baseball.
We had Hancock on the bump, and he
Yeah.
got absolutely shelled.
He got rocked pretty hard. He pitched 3.1 innings, 11 hits, 8 earned runs.
Only one walk?
One walk, yeah. He struck out 6 guys, which is more than his first start, but he gave up 2 big home runs, and that doesn't help at all. That was Wilson Contreras going huge that day. Yeah, the Mariners ended up scoring in the first and second, but they ended up being down 6-2 after the second inning.
And didn't really come back from that.
Yeah, our pitcher got pulled in the 4th inning. It's not a good start.
Nope. There's a couple hard hit balls for the Mariners. Also, I'm just realizing the positives is that they hit the ball hard a couple times. That game's pretty much a wash. There's nothing to be excited about on that one.
Even though we got blown out, we only struck out 8 times, which means we were putting the ball in play.
Only 8.
We like
Only
that.
8 strikeouts. Hang the banner.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, Rojas hit the ball hard a couple times. Dylan Moore hit the ball hard. Canzone hit a home run. That was nice. Luke Raley, who hasn't really been playing a whole lot. We'll talk about that in a bit, but he hit the ball hard at first base a couple times, like 100 plus miles an hour off the bat, 90 something, 100 mile an hour exit velo, but unfortunately they were positioned just right. He hit it right at him. But it's good to see that we're putting the ball in play with authority. And that, I mean, it's not much more to say about Sunday.
Yeah.
We got rocked.
That's all right. We can move past that.
On Monday, the Mariners
Kind of more of the same.
went to Toronto, and they had not a great game. They lost 2-5 to the Blue Jays.
I would call it a terrible game.
It's better than losing 12-4. It's still not good.
But they still played bad baseball.
It was bad baseball. I've noticed one of the issues that we have early on in the season is just fundamentals not going right. A lot of bad defense, bad counts, not good pitching. And that's kind of been the main struggles is just, the strikeouts and, fundamental baseball, especially during that rough stretch there. Just not making routine plays. Teams have been stealing a lot of bases on us, which is surprising to say the least. MLB has changed the rules because they want to increase stolen bases. So it is harder to throw out runners, and that's by design. But still, Cal led the league last year in throwing out base stealers. And for this early start, I'm surprised, actually, that teams have been so aggressive against us and really been taking the extra bases.
We did play the Cleveland Guardians, who are one of those teams who put the ball in play and steal a lot. We're playing teams that like to steal, you know what I mean? There's some teams that will just slug the ball around the field and do it that way, but since bases have gotten larger and there are more rules around interference at second base, it is tougher to throw out a base stealer than ever. So stealing around the league is up in general, and we're just seeing more of that. Hopefully Cal will throw out a lot of base runners this year, but we can't expect that it's going to be at the highest percentage possible, you know what I mean? And he does look good behind the plate. I don't know. I think that it's okay that they're stealing on us. Hopefully we do that to other teams too. We have to use our speed to our advantage too, since the game
Not
is
a strong suit this season. We don't have a lot of fast guys on the team anymore.
I was thinking the same thing. I've found our early season stolen base, even just attempts, have been shockingly low. We haven't really been even attempting to steal, let alone like getting thrown out or whatever. We're not even trying.
It's hard to steal bases when you don't get on base, though. So there's that.
Either way, let's get back to Monday, though.
Yeah.
Luis Castillo started that game, and it was his third start that didn't go very well. I mean, he's 0-3 with a 6.89 ERA right now, and that's not great. He did pitch 5 innings, gave up 9 hits, 4 runs, 6 strikeouts. He didn't give up a home run this time.
Hey, we'll put that in the positives.
Yeah. The Blue Jays ended up scoring early, though. They scored in the 2nd, 3rd, and the 4th innings. Made him work out of the stretch a lot, making him work throwing a lot of pitches. They hit the pitches that were there in the zone to hit, and there's not a lot to say about that. The Mariners struck out 10 times. Jose Barrios had a really good start against us. The only things that the Mariners did that day was hit a couple home runs, solo shots to get 2 runs, but it was too
late
little
in the game. Yeah. Too little, too late for sure.
Ty France returned in that game, though. His first game back after having his child.
He was the only one who had a good day that day.
Congratulations to Ty France and his new son, Luca France. And he came back. He had that dad strength. 3 for 4. And after the 3 days off for MLB paternity leave. And I mean, Ty France is one of the biggest positives on our team right now in general. Ty France is hitting the ball quite well.
For Monday, Ty France and Tyson Miller were the only 2 players on our team that did a lick of anything. I mean, JP hit that solo shot, but also went like 3-0 before that.
Yeah, like 1 for 4 with a solo
shot.
shot.
Sorry, 0-3. That's what I mean. Yeah. With a solo shot. I mean, it's not Ty France's fault that nobody was on base when he got his hits.
Yeah, he wasn't driving in runs. He hit the ball 3 times. No one was on base in front of him. That sucks. And yeah, JP's solo home run late in the game, that's nice for his personal day. But Dom Canzone had a highlight day, though. He was 2 for 4 with a home run. That's good. Polanco walked 2 times, which shows that as aggressive as he is able to work a walk. It seems like he likes to attack when the pitch is around the zone, but he's able to lay off pitches that are out of the zone. If they start in the zone and move out of the zone, he could be swinging, but he's not going to swing at a pitch that starts out of the zone and stays out of the zone, which I like a lot about him.
Zone.
Yeah. Tyson Miller, he just got called up because Cody Bolton went down with a kidney stone, and Colin Snyder got a ball off of his knee and has a kneecap contusion. So they're both down on the 15-day IL right now.
I had kidney stones once.
I was going to say I would rather have a knee contusion than a kidney stone.
Yeah, sounds like it sucks.
Kidney stone was brutal. It is so incredibly painful. Yeah, it happened to me. I was in high school when I had it, and yeah, it sucks. It's not fun. I would take a comebacker off the knee 100 times out of 100.
Drink water.
And Cody Bolton was looking good, too. We didn't know who he was, but he was working really well in those mid-leverage situations. In games where we're not far behind or tied, he was able to get us across to give us a chance to score. You know what I mean? Cody Bolton was a surprise and kind of came out of nowhere, and hopefully he'll be back soon. Like, get well soon, dude. Yeah. I will say, though, Luis Castillo, I was looking at his pitches on StatCast, and the only pitch that's not working is his slider. It doesn't have any movement. It's hanging. It's just spinning, and he's throwing it. It's not a put-away pitch. All he has is his fastball, his sinker, and his changeup, which he used to rely on a lot, but his slider's not working. If you don't have a breaking pitch to mix in there, you're kind of screwed, man. Like, I think that's why he's getting hit so hard. He doesn't have horizontal or vertical movement on his slider right now. It's not doing anything. So how you can't be effective if you don't have a breaking pitch. He doesn't rely on a curveball. He's a 4-pitch guy, and that's the only thing that's wrong with him right now. All of his other pitches look comparable to previous years. His strikeout rate looks comparable to previous years. He's still getting a lot of ground balls. There's not a lot of hard hit in the air. And the only thing that's lacking there is his slider that I've seen so far. So I'm not too worried. I think he can make an adjustment on that. As long as he's still healthy and all of his other pitches are moving and he makes an adjustment on his slider, I'm not as worried about that.
Do you guys think one of the issues with Castillo this year is that he's constantly pitching from the stretch. Because on opening day, he was the opening day starter, and Boston scored in like 5 straight innings. Like every inning, there is traffic on the base pass, and Castillo is constantly pitching from the stretch. And, you know, different strokes for different folks, but I knew that when I was pitching, like back in my day, I was not a big fan of pitching from the stretch. I didn't like it. I felt like I had less control. And also, you know, you're turning, looking at the base runners.
There's a lot to worry about.
It can be very distracting. And yeah, and I'm wondering if with having so much traffic, he doesn't get a chance to be in the windup and get in a groove because there's just always someone on.
Yeah, they scored in consecutive innings. The Jays scored in consecutive innings too. So yeah, that is something that worries me, that if he has to pitch out of the stretch that much, he's not as sharp, I guess.
Pretty much covers Monday.
Yeah, we
on
lost
to
that game
Tuesday,
5-2. Let's move on to Tuesday here.
And Tuesday, what do you know? More of the same. Poor starting pitching. George Kirby, only 4 innings, 8 hits, 5 earned runs, a big home run that he gave up.
My man's rocking a near 7 ERA.
Yeah.
This sucks.
6.91 ERA on the season. We thought he was going to be second to Castillo for ace. Like, we are very high on George Kirby.
This is not ace shit that we're seeing right
not.
now.
It's not. There is something I thought of that we didn't even discuss with George Kirby. The sophomore slump.
Okay.
We talk about the sophomore slump so much. We talked about it with Julio.
It's real.
The sophomore slump is real, and we just kind of blew past that with Kirby. We never even considered, like,
that's true.
And I think we're seeing the results of that. He has a year under his belt, so he's in his sophomore season, and it seems like teams are adjusting to him early. They're swinging really early in counts because they know George Kirby's biggest strength is that he attacks the zone and he attacks it well. However, if these teams now have a full year of scouting report on George Kirby, they know he wants to throw that first pitch strike, and they're swinging on it.
They're going to swing on him.
Yeah, and just they're making hard contact. They're getting a ton of traffic with him too. And I think we're seeing a sophomore slump for George Kirby.
Yeah, I mean, I can agree with that. I think the league has caught up to George Kirby a lot. They know what he does well, puts the ball in the zone, especially early in the count. They're jumping on him early in the count. He does throw a lot of pitches. He's a 5-pitch guy. He's able to throw a lot of pitches. So if he can mix his pitches well and start throwing a breaking ball to get a strike one, and maybe use a changeup instead of a fastball, and kind of mix it up a little bit, he'll be fine. It's just that he needs to miss that zone purposely. You know what I mean? If he's able to put it in the zone like that so consistently, start looking just a little bit to the left or right. Start getting up in the zone early in the count where the guy sees a high fastball but doesn't realize it's up and out of the zone. That's usually a put-away strikeout pitch, but if you use it early in the count, their eyes light up and they'll swing through it. You know, you have to learn how to attack each batter differently, and he needs to miss the zone purposely, and that's what's going to make the difference. I said that about his Cy Young candidacy too. He has to be able to strike out batters and miss the zone, swing and miss. You know, don't just throw it in there and challenge every batter. You have to strike a lot of guys out to be in contention for that. And I'm not asking George Kirby to go out there and get 10 Ks every time. I just want him to be himself and work against the batters in a more cerebral way here and miss the zone on purpose, even early in a count.
I've also noticed that Kirby, I don't think it's all that detrimental, but Kirby seems to be a little bit of a hothead as well.
Oh, yeah.
He's intense.
He is.
He's an intense guy.
And listening to like 710 AM sports radio and stuff, like kind of behind the scenes, you know, where they say stuff without saying it. And yeah, that's one of the words they use. Oh, he's an intense guy. He
wants to win.
He wants to win, which is all just media speak for he's got a little bit of a temper, which is fine. You know, I'm not going to rip on a guy for getting upset. But what's important with that is that you utilize that anger and you don't make more mistakes, because mistakes can breed mistakes. So if he's frustrated and then starts, overthrowing or anything, which I don't think has been the case yet, but you definitely can tell that he's been getting pretty heated over his last couple starts, and rightfully so. He's a great pitcher. He knows how good he can be, and he's just getting knocked around a little bit. I have a lot of high hopes for Kirby, and the sophomore slump is real. What he just needs to do is now make his adjustments. I mean, it's the same with all professional sports. Everyone adjusts and adapts, and strategies move over time. So as they adjust to him, it's now his job to adjust back. And I'm not sure what the right moves on his adjustment is. Matt, you raised a lot of good points about maybe changing pitch locations and stuff like that. But he has to make the adjustment, because right now it's not working.
The ball's back in his court, and it's up to him to make the adjustment. And I think he will. This is a very big time. The sophomore year is a maturity check. Julio's still growing. It's his third year. We watched him grow a little bit, and he still has a lot to do. You know what I mean? We called JP best Mariner. Why is Julio not best Mariner? He's young. He's not there yet. He's not fully physically and mentally on that elite level yet. He has to prove it. And
might have a new best Mariner coming up soon.
Yeah.
JP keeps playing the way he's playing. Mitch Haniger is about to be best Mariner.
True. With Haniger back on the team, he's giving him a run for his money. Watch out, JP.
Watch out, JP. Keep your nickname, dude. I want to keep calling you best Mariner.
No, we love JP, and he's always best Mariner. But Mitch Haniger, man, we need to give him a nickname too.
I'm so glad Haniger's back.
It's fucking awesome.
He hit a home run on Tuesday.
Yeah, one of the few bright spots in that game.
Canzone hit another home run too.
Give Canzone more at bats,
especially against left-handed pitching. Why not, dude? He seems like he can hit the ball. When I looked up his left-handed splits in his career, it's very small sample size because it's only a couple years worth of at bats, and he has a couple doubles. He has a normal average, a normal strikeout rate, a few walks, but he slapped a couple doubles off of lefties. Why not put him in the lineup against a left-handed pitcher? Who cares? He can hit a fastball.
Scott cares.
Scott.
That's who cares.
That's why we don't. Scott, it's so, the hands matter. Can't go left and left. And have
full
to
platoon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's too automatic.
Yeah.
Put Canzone in there. Let's see some Luke Raley. He's there to hit.
I don't know why Luke Raley is not getting playing time.
Who's Luke Raley? Is he on this team?
I would hope so. I mean, my God, he's the one Mariners win that we had when he scored on the contact play from third. He's fast, and I hate the contact play, and it worked because Raley was barreling down the line, and he's got that speed. He's not a bad player. I don't know why he's not being utilized in the lineup.
Yeah, we need to put him
Raley
in the game.
needs more playing time ASAP.
We ended up losing Tuesday, 3-5. The Blue Jays beat us. We had a chance to win in this game. When the bullpen came in, we ended up using Stanek and Spire to stay in the game and keep the game where it was. We were within reach, and we just couldn't do it, man. We couldn't put base runners on and get them around to score. So we lost again, 3-5.
We used a lot of relievers that day because Kirby only pitched 4 innings.
Yeah,
we put in Thornton and Voth, and they were both whatever.
Castillo pitched 5 innings. Kirby pitched 4. Yeah, we saw a lot of our bullpen getting used. And thank God on Wednesday things turned around.
Spire hit a guy, a pinch hitter. Plunked him right in the ribs.
Hard. That was no.
Whoops.
Honestly, the Mariners hit 2 Blue Jays in that game. And I was actually hoping that the Blue Jays would start a fight or something, because I was like, oh my God, the Mariners need this spark. They need some type of fire. But the Blue Jays let their play do the talking. They didn't need to retaliate, and they won. So, it was the right call. But I was hoping that, I was like, okay, 2 Blue Jays have been hit. Maybe they throw out a Mariner in retaliation. Maybe things get heated. Maybe that spark starts. Maybe Ty France beats the shit out of someone with his newfound dad strength. But alas, they didn't retaliate. There was no spark, and the Mariners lost again.
But Wednesday is when things started to shine.
Logan Gilbert, baby.
Oh my
Logan,
God. What a start.
Walter, Gilbert.
Walter. Look out.
Logan had a great day. Hucked a gem.
Honestly, if the Mariners had gotten swept, I probably was just going to go and put on 1995 highlights and David Carradine myself. So, Logan was absolutely phenomenal.
Dominant.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah, he pitched 7 2/3 innings, only gave up 5 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk late in the game in the 7th inning, I believe. 8 Ks and gave up 1 home run, which Vlad Jr. did that damage. He put one in the second deck in left center.
650 feet?
Yeah, something like that. Maybe 711.
It was like a 465-foot home run. It was an absolute mammoth blast.
Piss missile.
It was the only mistake Logan made all day. And I was also thinking about this. This is another problem that the Mariners offense is having right now. And it comes through especially when listening on the radio, where these teams, the teams the Mariners are playing, they feast on mistakes. You leave a ball in the heart of the zone like Logan did. It was a slider that didn't break, middle, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. jumped all over it and just sent it into orbit. And I'm thinking about how the Mariners do not capitalize on these mistakes. Listening to Rick Riz call the game, and he's like, oh, that was 93 right down the heart of the plate. He should have jumped on that for the Mariners hitters. I've heard so many cases of, oh, he left that one wide open and then it just gets tipped straight back. Like they're just missing it. They're not capitalizing on the mistakes. And a lot of teams, especially the better teams, you're looking at, 2 or 3 mistakes in a game that you have to capitalize on. And the Mariners currently have not been doing that at the plate.
Scott has said that too.
When you hear them on a radio too, like you don't see it in person, but all those foul balls that are straight back, you know what I mean? The ones that are straight back up towards the booth, over the net, like they're just missing those pitches. Those ones are the ones to do damage on, and
those could have been out of here.
Yeah, when you hear that ball hit the backstop really hard, when you're listening, yeah. Like they're just missing those pitches, and those are the ones you need to do damage on if they're swinging at them, which. That's Vlad took advantage of that hanging slider for sure. It was middle up, and he just shit all over it. So
we got to see Kikuchi that day as well.
Yeah, Kikuchi,
former Mariner.
He's actually he pitched 32 starts for them last year. He's been healthy for them. We know what he can do. Mm-hmm. He can throw 97. He's got a slider. See if a splitter too. I don't know. Kikuchi, he can deal when he throws strikes. He can deal because you can't just let him work himself to death out there. Like
we were pretty hard on Kikuchi when he pitched for the Mariners because he was okay.
He was walking
a
lot of guys
very well on the Blue Jays.
Yeah, his control is really better than it was when he was with the Mariners.
9 strikeouts in 6 innings. He had 4 strikeouts in 2 innings. I mean, he was carving us up early.
Yes.
And it was kind of funny because in our group chat before the game, we were like, is Kikuchi gonna absolutely deal and shut down the Mariners? And I was like, nah, the Mariners are gonna avoid the sweep. And both things happened. Kikuchi carved us up, but the Mariners got to the bullpen and avoided the sweep. So it kind of worked.
It was a full-on pitcher's duel there for at least 6 innings, and once the Mariners jumped on the bullpen, that was already a little bit taxed. I don't know. The Blue Jays bullpen isn't that great. It seems like the Mariners always have their number for some reason, especially Cal Raleigh, which we'll get to. But
I mean, we're talking about it right now. This is the Wednesday game.
Before
Cal
that
Raleigh
though, early in the game,
yard on them birds.
Yeah, like he always does.
Yeah,
but Dylan Moore early in the game got on base, stole second, and then JP had a little bloop hit that scored him, and that was the only run we had for the whole game until we got to the end of the game. So it kept us in the lead for a while. Then Vladdy's solo home run tied it up, and we got to the 9th inning where it was tied 1-1.
And they had Munoz.
And they brought out Munoz, who I will say did nothing at all to instill any more confidence in me. I don't think Munoz is that good. Watching him pitch that day pissed me off so bad.
You can say he's had his hard times out there. You can say it's a roller coaster ride.
You could
with
also
him.
say he's been fucking up.
But yeah, you could. And
That's how I would
You
phrase
could say
that.
And all these things exactly are just a way to cover up that he's not who we think he is. He's not Edwin Diaz.
No,
he doesn't
that's
have control the way we think
That's
a closer
exactly
should.
what I'm saying. You put it in much better terms.
We
I'm going to
called-
say it my way, which is
I
not
called,
the greatest way to say it.
I called
But
Paul
accurate.
Sewald dad. He was
know
a
you
real
do.
lockdown closer. And God, he was the man. I know it's weird.
Still saying it.
Yeah.
He's been gone, and you're still harping on that.
Yeah, but who's Munoz? He's
Who the
he's
fuck
junior,
is Andres
man.
Munoz?
Who is this guy? Like he needs
The
to really be
potential
able
is
to
there.
throw
I want to
strikes.
like Munoz so bad, but he's just showing me time and time and again that he's not that guy.
And he almost blew the game in
Yes, man.
2 outs, bottom of the ninth. The Blue Jays had a runner on third base, and they hit a little flare, and it was going to drop in for what would be a walk-off single, and the Mariners would have lost. However, Polanco, whose defense has been shaky to start the year, that's kind of understating it. He's been a little rough out there, and he made a fantastic over-the-shoulder catch to save the game. I mean, that catch was the game-winning catch. It took an inning later for the Mariners to win, but that catch was the game-winning catch.
Absolutely. Do you think that's full redemption for Polanco?
I
think a lot of people saw that play and said, you know what? The beginning of the season is the beginning of the season. This guy gets it done.
like Polanco a lot.
I also like Polanco.
I've been saying these last couple weeks, man, like Polanco, he's an aggressive hitter, and when he starts putting the bat on the ball, he's going to be doing damage, and I can't wait to see that, but it hasn't been going that way so far. His defense has been a little shaky, but I've also seen him make really good plays. Like, he's that guy that I don't know. He's just a veteran guy that's going to make those plays sometimes, and and not every
Okay.
time, you know. So,
You know
but
what?
I
I
have
think
high
that's
hopes
very-
for his bat still. Is
That's
the
very
thing.
fair.
His bat is still coming around. I can't wait to see what he can do for us offensively, because defensively, it's a coin flip, and that play was beautiful. I'm glad that that was the right side of the coin for us.
And then in the 10th inning, the wheels just completely fell off for the Blue Jays, and the Mariners looked like a real baseball team. I saw the graphic where at the time of that game, the Mariners inning or runs by inning breakdown, they had scored the most runs in the 10th inning.
Right.
So they
yeah.
had for the season, they had scored no runs in the 5th inning. They had 4 runs in the 2nd inning. It was a full inning by inning breakdown, but they had 8 runs
In the
10th inning. So
In our 2 extra inning games we've played, we've scored more runs that inning than any other inning.
Yeah.
It was yeah.
and a 5-run top of the 10th. I mean, really put honestly.
We might have really injured the Blue Jays because they got absolutely shit on by the Rockies right after that. So
Yeah, we did some damage to
we
their
did some
ego.
real damage to those guys.
And I think now with the new runner on second, the Manfred runner on second that they do,
Automatic runner, yeah.
it almost seems like it's a detriment to the home team. Because, I mean, yeah, it's easy to get that run back, but it's super easy for the away team in the top of the 10th to get that run in.
It's a momentum shift, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it, yeah.
For sure, yeah, that is interesting, and it is easier to get a rally going when you have a runner on second base with no one out. There's no double play opportunity on a ground ball. You can bunt and put them on third base, so you have a squeeze or a sac fly or a fielder's choice situation, or you force the infield to come in, so it's easier to hit through the infield. There's all kinds of things you can do with a runner on second base with nobody out. It gives you offensive options out the ass. So it does give you that slight advantage, but the other team gets it too. Like, the home team can decide what they do. If they hold them to 0 runs, then they can bunt and make the infield come in and get an advantage. The home team
boom,
always
game
has
over,
the
yeah.
same advantage. But if the other team scores a couple runs, then they just start swinging. You know what I mean? And hopefully not.
The other team being the Mariners, who
Yeah.
only want to score runs in in extra innings.
I
Yeah.
honestly
Free baseball.
think it's a good idea for the away team to bunt the runner over and try to get that one run and hold the home team to 0 rather than like swing away. And the Mariners decide to swing away a lot with runners on, with the automatic runner on.
But the
And
Mariners,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm of the other mind. But either way, the Mariners got it started in the 10th inning.
Yes.
with Cal, and Cal didn't even give him a chance to get one run in. Boom.
Right
Was
off
it
the bat.
first pitch?
Luke Raley was on second base, pinch running.
Hey, a rare.
He got in
Oh,
the
he
game
got to play that
in
day.
the 10th inning.
Nice to see him.
He got
Yeah.
to trot home from second base.
And Cal hit that beautiful 2-run shot in the 10th. It's
Yes.
now his 9th home run against the Blue Jays, or
Oh
like
my
in
God.
Toronto. Like the dude hits Toronto so crazy. It's like Kyle Seager
In Texas?
in Texas. Anytime. Thanks, Kyle. Anytime
Thanks,
Kyle
Larry.
Seager was in Texas, he just destroyed the baseball. And Cal does that against the Blue Jays. Something about him being in Toronto just hits in that stadium, and had a beautiful 2-run shot in the 10th.
Let's talk about Thursday. Thursday was a really good day.
Thursday was a nice airplane day. They all hung out and traveled back to Seattle.
Yeah, they probably traveled back Wednesday night and then had a day off at home on Thursday. So they're at home chilling.
We love Thursday.
That's
Thursday's
always
great for Mariners baseball
That's
because you don't
always-
lose on that day.
It's always great to have an at-home rest day. It's
Yeah.
great for the team. I mean, all teams to have your players get to rest at home. It's huge. And the Mariners showed out on Friday. Yesterday's game, Friday, was phenomenal. It was the best Mariners game all year.
It was great. All
Yes.
around good baseball.
Duh, Cubs.
Doug Cubs.
My second team, I love the Cubbies, my National League team. So I of course went to the game. I had amazing seats. I was right on the first baseline, like 13 rows up in the 100 level. It was beautiful. Had great view. Usually I sit up in the 300 level. I kind of like the top down view, but I wanted to get really good seats for this game. I got them, and it was a lot of fun. It was great Mariners baseball. Bryce Miller had an amazing start.
Phenomenal.
Great day for the kid.
Bryce is looking awesome.
6 1/3 innings pitched, 3 hits, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, a run. What's crazy is that he wasn't overpowering. He wasn't carving everyone up. He was just being an artistic pitcher. He was getting tons of weak contact, so many ground ball outs, so many
Yes.
weak pop-ups.
Yes.
It was the best non-overpowering pitching performance this year. Because like when Logan had his great start, he was overpowering, which is also phenomenal. But for Bryce Miller to not come in and just like shut everyone down with the fastball or whatever, but just pitching smart, pitching correctly, and just getting the Cubs to just kind of swing weakly all game.
Last year, Bryce Miller was really a fastball pitcher. He relied heavily on his four-seam fastball. He had a slider. I mean, he's had pitches in his past that he's brought back. He can throw a cutter. He can throw a sinker. He can throw a four-seam fastball. He can throw a split-finger fastball. And now he has a sweeper. And he's been using his sweeper and splitter super effectively to get poor contact. They still think of him as a four-seam guy, but he's been using it more as his weapon. He's been pitching backwards, using the sweeper first pitch to get a strike. He's throwing like slow sweepers, like 79 to 81 mile an hour sweepers sometimes. He can change speeds with his sweeper, slider. He throws like a hard one and a sweeping one, which is nice. Then you have one that's like 84 and one that's like 81, and you're changing speeds and angles. He's got a split finger fastball that comes out of the hand and looks like a fastball, and it just isn't there, man. And then he uses his four seam that he spins super well at the top of the zone and strikes him out with a fastball. You can pitch backwards to these guys, or you can just throw him 3 fastballs and keep him thinking and just blow it by him if he wants. He's throwing like 95. That's a good fastball. It's not elite, but that's a really good fastball with really high spin, which makes it look like a riser to batters too. It's crazy. He put a full game together. I want to see more of this from Bryce Miller. That's 2-3 great starts in a row.
And he retired every leadoff hitter that he saw that day. That's
all
awesome.
7.
That's just like talking about momentum. Just start your inning on a good note, just boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Get these guys out of there.
Also, he started the game with the old Ichiro special, 1 pitch, 1 out. That was that was exciting. First pitch of the game, weak pop-up to right field. It was awesome. I was like, oh, hell yeah. Good start. And yeah, every inning
Ichiro
after that.
special. I like that.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, Ichiro got a ton of hits, but he was also notorious for not taking pitches, and there was a lot of games. He would finish 3 for 4, but that 1 out was on the very first pitch of the game. Like,
he wanted to start it off with a bang, either way. But, I mean, the Mariners rallied early this time, right? We had Wicks, a lefty, pitching against us. It was the second or third inning. They loaded the bases with no outs.
Even when we win, there's something to complain about. And I've got one here. Right here.
So we loaded the bases.
the bases loaded with nobody out, and
Working walks, slapping
You know
singles.
what? I fully expected 3 outs. That is so Mariners
We
to
did-
load the bases with no outs and then do nothing with it, which we basically did
we
nothing.
practically did. We
The
did
Cubs-
get 1 run out of it.
Cubs pretty much own gold that.
They did.
They gifted us a run.
It was on like a 1-2 count too. Like,
Yeah, he just spiked a curveball into his feet or whatever.
yeah.
A slider.
So the Mariners have bases loaded, no one down. Cal Raleigh then strikes out, and
It's
Cal-
actually good that he didn't hit it on the ground and get a double play there. Like, I'm kind of glad he struck out.
But even if it's a ground, or even if it's a double play up the middle, we still get 1 run out of it,
guess.
and that's all we got anyways.
I guess.
the same.
Yeah. So, yeah, Cal struck out.
Yeah.
Then, Dylan Moore?
I think it was Demo. Yeah.
Dylan Moore had a pop-up to shallow right field. You had a good view on this. How shallow was this fly ball to right?
It wasn't deep. It was pretty shallow. And I think if maybe Ty France wasn't on third, they might have sent him. If it was someone a little bit quicker. Ty France has lost a lot of weight.
Was it Haniger? I think it might have been Haniger or
It was
Polanco.
Haniger on third.
Was it Haniger? I
Yeah.
thought it was Ty.
Either way, I don't think it's worth it to
No,
risk
it
that.
was not deep enough. There might have been a shot to send him, but honestly, I think Manny Acta, third base coach, made the right call in not sending him, because also the right fielder caught it and fired it in, and it was an absolute strike. Anyone running would have been out by 7 feet. So,
Well, that made 2 outs. We haven't scored yet. Bases are still loaded.
and the baseball gods blessed us. It was like a
Yeah, they
1-2, 2-2 count. We were looking to not score a run, and sure enough, their pitcher hit Urias.
Yep.
And pegged him right in the leg.
1-2 count, hits him. They spiked a slider and hit him in the lower legs. Yeah.
And we got a run.
We scored. 2 outs, bases loaded. We
Ugly.
scored 1 run.
Ugly.
JP,
But we'll take it.
JP came up after that and grounded out to short or second.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Whatever.
And that was it.
And that's the week
Yeah.
in baseball.
Yeah.
We won. We beat the Cubs.
We did beat the Cubs 4-2. Their pitcher, their lefty Wicks, is throwing us a lot of changeups. Julio had a rough day against him.
Cal had a golden sombrero, struck out 4 times.
Oh yeah, Julio had a golden sombrero a couple days ago too. I forgot to say he was like 1 for 5 with 4 strikeouts against the Blue Jays. That was rough.
Cal was 0 for 4, 4 strikeouts, 3 of them swinging, and they weren't close. I was texting you guys at the game, like, he looked lost out there. And Cal is a great hitter, but I mean, certain players have other players' numbers, and Wicks had Cal's.
Yeah, what was that?
What was
Garrett?
that?
I don't know. I got some kind of update.
Wicks had Cal's number. He was just throwing this changeup to him time and time again.
That's his best pitch.
And Cal was golfing it, and Julio was golfing a bit that day too. That changeup that Wicks has clearly has some bite at the end of it, because it was coming in and dropping, and these players were just swinging over the top, and it looked pretty ugly. Cal especially had a bad day at the plate yesterday. It happens. It's not a sign of anything, but damn, it was rough watching Cal yesterday.
It was.
One of the most exciting things about that game, though, 2-out hits and stringing together base hits.
Walks. Yeah, there was good patience. We were working a few walks. We got a couple of hits. Ty France ripped one, and we scored 4. It was great, and we ended up giving up a couple runs to the Blue Jays there was a fluky error at first base.
Cubbies.
Oh yeah, sorry. The Cubs. Yeah, there's a fluky error when Gomes ran into Ty France at first. I'm not sure what happened there, but he dropped the ball.
It looked like Ty just straight up miscaught it. It looks like it kind of like hit him in the palm and just kind of dropped.
Just a classic E3.
It happens.
Yeah.
So that was an unearned run that scored, and then in the 9th, the Cubs hit a pretty solid home run to right field. It was crushed.
It was crushed.
It was a very good swing, but that was it. That was the only damage. 4-2, Mariners win. Very exciting.
There was another exciting thing that happened that game. The soggy boy himself.
Oh,
yes. We totally forgot about that. Thank
Smiley
Drew
came
Smiley,
into
the reason for the name Sogcast. Pitched for the Cubs. He
the game.
came in.
Mr. Sog.
Mr. Sog himself came in. We got to watch him pitch, and that was insane. When they put his name up on the like bullpen scoreboard that he was warming up, I lost my mind. I was like,
there he is.
Oh, that's the guy. I felt like that Leonardo DiCaprio meme. Yeah. Mr. Sog himself, Drew Smiley, is still pitching. Pitched for the Cubs last night. It was really funny to see him out there.
Well, it's nice to get 2 wins in a row, and it's nice to also come home and win the first game of the homestand, the first game of a series. The Mariners are 6-8, which is not too bad. I know
it really isn't.
It's been rough, but we're going to see better baseball. They're starting to show us a little bit here and there. What can you say? The road trip wasn't the greatest, but this homestand can turn things around. We're hoping to see better things from our ace pitchers and our offense start to click, and our main offensive players really start to hit the ball. Mitch Garver, I'm looking at you. Julio Rodriguez, where you at, bro? Like, come on, let's get it together.
Yeah, Ty France is the most consistent hitter on our team right now, followed closely by Mitch Haniger.
Yes.
But Ty right now, I mean, he is hitting out of this world. He's seeing the ball well. He had like 7-8 game hitting streak going.
Hit artist.
Yes, and he's looking like it. Drive line has worked for Ty France, at least early. It's really nice seeing him hit the ball well. Spraying it. Not the power, but who gives a shit?
That's not what we're here for, bro.
Yeah. Not a lot of power, but he's getting on base. He's hitting the ball well. He's still batting over 300, which I saw on the Mariners. I believe it was the Wednesday game against the Blue Jays. Of the 9 starters in the Mariners lineup, 6 of them were batting under 200. You can't have that. You just can't have that. And shit.
Early in the week, I was like, this is not Major League Baseball. What are we doing? This team looks so rough right now.
It was easier to compare our team to the Oakland Athletics than any good team by any metric. And it was rough to see. It was great to see Logan Gilbert doing great and Bryce Miller taking another step forward and really showing us what he can do. Yeah, we'll get into a few things here, but let's take a 5.
Let's take 5.
Yeah, let's take 5, boys.
Cool.
All right, we're back from our break. We're still ironing out the kinks here. Too bad we couldn't iron out our background.
Hey, fans, let us know. Did you like the Edgar Martinez blanket behind us or not? We were up in discussion on whether we should do it. We went with the pure black background this time. Let us know what you think.
We're going to keep upgrading our set, get different materials, and see what works best. Give us some feedback. We want to know what looks best to you guys.
We're also going to keep adding bobbleheads every single time.
Yeah, we got Larry Bernandez down here.
Got a light bat, Edgar Martinez right here.
It's a light bat.
Classic.
The light doesn't work on it anymore.
What,
Mariners
battery
engineering.
Or what?
Yeah.
Classic M's. Shit broke.
We've also got this Kingdom Cup. I went to the last game in the Kingdom. And
I was there.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Against the
dude.
Rangers.
Yeah. It was Rusty Greer hit a first inning home run. Jose Mesa closed out the game. Confetti everywhere. It was cool.
And then they blew it up.
Yeah, they did. I had a piece of it at one point, but I ended up losing that piece in the move a couple times, you know?
You lost it a couple times?
No, I moved a couple times and got lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
It just looked like a piece of cement. I'm sure it just got thrown outside at some point. Someone looking through a box, like, what is this
Why does it
rock?
have gravel.
But it was important to me. I don't have it anymore, but
I still have my seats from the Kingdom in my mom's backyard.
Your
But-
seats.
Yeah.
You actually got the seats out of the stadium?
So season ticket holders, when they blew up the Kingdom,
Why aren't we sitting in these?
What the fuck are we doing?
They're ugly and orange and
Good.
uncomfortable.
Sick.
But I have them.
Well, I already have a butt pad, so I'm ready.
When they blew up the Kingdom, if you were a season ticket holder, you had a chance to take your seats, and I have them.
Do you have
Cool,
3 of
man.
them?
I have 2 of them.
That's why we don't sit in them.
Yeah.
Well,
2 of us would be in Kingdom seats, and then Matt's over there in his butt pad.
yeah, that's right. Got to be comfy. It's good for my back.
Yeah. All right, let's talk M's.
Yeah, what do we got here? I mean, we kind of talked about how Luis Castillo's getting blown up. His slider isn't effective. I'm not too worried as long as he's healthy. What about you guys?
Well, isn't it notorious that he pitches better in warmer weather? I
Yes.
think that's been like a staple throughout his career. When the temperature rises, so does Castillo's ability. He just doesn't pitch that well in cold weather.
When I looked at his peripheral stats on StatCast and on Baseball Savant, like I was saying, his movement still looks good. His all of his rates are fairly similar to what they've been these last couple of years since he's gone more fastball heavy instead of change-up slider heavy. But I'm worried because his stuff isn't as good when he tries to throw a breaking pitch, and that worries me. But I think it's a slight adjustment. It's the way he holds the ball. It's the way he spins the ball. It's his release point. He's a guy that doesn't have a lot of extension. So when he's releasing he doesn't release the ball out in front. He's kind of releasing the ball kind of like back in here more. So he doesn't get as much release like out front. Like Logan Gilbert has extension way out front and Castillo's is way back here. So he just needs to make a small adjustment to get his slider working, and I'm not too worried.
Yeah, I'll give it another month before I really start to worry.
I wouldn't put him back in the Cy Young race right away like you asked me last week. I'm more worried this week than I was last week about that, but I'm not worried about his effectiveness once he makes that adjustment.
I'm just going to wait for the weather to get warmer and see if he improves, and then after that, we'll evaluate it at that time. But I'm
Sure.
give
it 4 or 5 more starts.
Yeah, I'm willing to give him a little bit more leeway, and hopefully he figures it out. He's a veteran pitcher.
Yeah.
He can piece it together, figure out what's not working, and rectify it. So.
I think he'll have a good season. His expected stats are in line with what he's been doing the last 2 years, and I don't expect anything less than what he's been doing the last couple of years. I think he'll stay in line with that. But
You guys worried about any of our starting pitching?
What about Kirby? I mean, he's the guy that has the stats that look like you should worry about him. Is there any reason to worry?
Well, we kind of touched about it earlier, but I'm chalking that up. Sophomore slump. Let him figure it out. Let him adjust.
For the whole year?
Not for the
I
whole
think
year.
he'll lock it in,
But
man.
yeah, when you say sophomore slump, it's like it's kind of giving him the slack for the rest of the season. When
True.
Yeah,
like, no, dude, you got to get it together.
he does. He does have to get it
You
together.
can't chalk it up to sophomore slump when you need results now.
The ball's back
The
in his
Mariners
court.
need to win now.
Yep.
More than ever.
I mean, every game matters.
And this is our window. And I think we need to be less forgiving when we're fucking up. Be like, you can't. We don't have that option anymore.
That's 2 starts in a row from
We need
Kirby.
to win right now. No
Yeah.
exceptions. There's no more leeway.
Yeah. Well, and you think about how many times in the past the Mariners have missed the playoffs by a game, a half game, little things like that. These games in April matter. They matter just as much as August.
Yep, every game has the same value despite how much pressure is on you when there's less games to play. Like, every game is one of 162 games. Every win matters. It's hard to remember at the end of the season. It's hard to look back at right now in April and say, damn, those 2 games against the Guardians, like those we could have swept. Or
when it costs you the playoff.
When we started slow like that, like the Mariners notoriously do, like Julio is now notoriously a slow starter. It's his 3rd season with a slow start. What are we doing here? We need to be winning games. And I don't know. I mean, I think as a player, you have to stay within yourself and like not worry too much about that overall pressure and just go out there and do your best every day. But as a fan, like us, we're here to say like, hey, go win a game. This is important right now, just as important as it is at the end of September when we're trying to get into the playoffs. It's the same value every game. Every win matters. So let's win now. And I want a mantra around the Mariners fandom, like every game, like, hello, like, wake up every game. Let's go.
I'm saying, bro, let's get this going. It's honestly late for us to be like, okay, now it matters, let's move it along here.
With the improved roster, we have to be winning games.
Dude, I got a question for you guys.
What's up?
What do we do in spring training? Why do the Mariners come in like they don't play baseball?
Because it's warm and comfortable. I think it's literally because it's
that
warm.
We're in Arizona.
It's warm. It's comfortable.
That's where people go to retire.
And they're out there living their best lives, getting their swings under their belt. And then they come to rainy, cold, freezing Washington for, 2-3 months before the weather starts to warm up.
The wind blowing from left to right every night, even on a nice day.
Yesterday at the stadium, just the way the stadium is designed with the open left field with the Puget Sound.
Elliott Bay,
yeah, like behind it. The cold air comes off of the water, hits the opening of the left field stadium, and just whips around. It's like a damn cyclone in there. And you see it. Balls, the marine layer is fucking real. You see balls rise up and fly and just die out.
Even JP yesterday hit one to center field early in the game, and it got up high enough, and it just dies when it gets to a certain height, man.
JP tweeted, "Close the roof."
I have always thought that what the Mariners need to tweak their stadium. T-Mobile Park needs to be tweaked, and I kind of like the idea of what the Houston Astros Stadium does, where they have a retractable roof, but they have an open air left field. But what they do is have a giant glass pane up, and then the roof closes on top of it.
I like that too.
So that way you get the views of the city. You're not enclosed in a dome, but it stops the wind.
Yeah, imagine above those left field bleachers if there were just big wind blockers. Like
that
they
it
go
would be
up
so
to where
nice. It's cold over there.
It's
bro.
cold. The wind whips
that would be
through.
So nice.
Like change.
There's a big old gap between left and the left field 300 level and the bleachers too. Though they'd have to figure out what to do with that gap, because then they just create like a wind tunnel. You know what I mean? They have to block the whole thing, and it's an expensive thing, but. Hey, if we're spending money on Diamond Club upgrades and the whole lower press box and all that, if we're making stadium upgrades, let's think about something that gets free agents to want to sign in Seattle, because maybe they can hit here if we have a controlled environment instead of having the first 2 months of the season be cold and wet and soggy. That's why we're here. That we've struggled through it our whole entire lives since Safeco was built. It's been this way here, and at least try to fix the dimensions of the field so left center and right center aren't so fucking far away. Are you trying to attract hitters, or you just want to focus on pitching and defense for the rest of your entire existence?
Nope, pitching and defense forever.
How about try to attract an offensive player to want to come to Seattle?
And another issue is look at what the Red Sox, Fenway Park is old as shit. It's always been like that. But like Yankees, when they built their new stadium, short right field, like
Porch.
right field is in, and
As usual.
and it's short. So you have your lefties especially can poke homers in there all day. Imagine if when the Mariners made the switch from the Kingdome to Safeco Field in 2000, if they had built a short right field porch, Ken Griffey Jr. might have stayed with the Mariners, and he could have broken the home run record. And I've heard, I don't know all the truth to this, but I heard that there were like dimensions issues that led to Ken Griffey Jr. wanting a trade. I mean, another reason is he did want to go home to Cincinnati and like be with his dad and stuff, which I get.
Oh, yeah.
But we could have built the stadium around him. It could have been Ken Griffey's stadium, and he could have just launched 50 home runs a year into a short right field porch.
It's funny because that is the shortest part, and the best thing for any home run hitter is to be left-handed in our stadium, and it's still not easy.
No.
Like even the Astros stadium like is a similar right field, but it is like 20 feet shorter, you know what I mean? And like Kyle Tucker is standing out there at the base of the wall, hardly having to jump to steal home runs. So he plays our right field really well, but it's so deep out there. Like at least Seager had enough power to get it out there all the time, which was nice. But that it's even far for the best area to hit home runs in our field. It's still deep.
That's why Julio's got the slow start, dude. He's got to run out to deep ass center field every inning.
He's
jogging
winded when he
2
gets up to
miles
bat.
and, like,
Dude, he's so good out there in center
He's
field. I just
amazing.
want to say, like, he's got such good reads on balls, and he's so fast that it is no fly zone out there, just like Area 51, man. Like, good luck getting a ball on the ground. If it's hitting the air, good luck, man.
Mariners have always, well, not always, not Michael Saunders, but we have been blessed with incredible center fielders.
Yes.
Julio, Ken Griffey, Mike Cameron, Franklin Gutierrez.
Oh, he was good.
He was phenomenal. And it's just, we're so blessed to have these amazing center fielders. But it would also be nice to be blessed with guys that hit 50 home runs a year. And I don't like our park dimensions. I don't like that it's a pitcher's park. They need to make changes to the stadium. And feasibly, I don't even think there's anything they can do. Like,
They'd have to move the fences. They'd have to cut off.
and they've already
the
moved the
gaps.
fences in. They've moved the fences in.
They have a little, yeah, and they got rid of the tall wall in left field and put in Edgar's Cantina down there. Like, they did do a few things, but I think they can cut off the gaps a little bit harder, you know what I mean? They could probably fit another section out there in center field if they cut the gap and, like, 15, 20 feet all the way around from right center to left center, extend that big old whatever they have out there in left center field that's really hard to even see the game when you're standing at.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's standing in circles talking to each other out there. You have to be on the front rail to be able to see, which sucks, dude. I want to stand out there, but you can't see shit, and everyone's standing in circles being mad when you're like, can I watch the game around? Like, can I be up there? Can you guys move so I can actually watch the thing? It's bad. Anyway, I think they could change the dimensions and add a section or two out there that actually sell tickets around like the edge of the outfield wall. But it's tough, man. I wish they would, because I'm so tired of being focused on pitching and offensive players not wanting to come here, giving them an extra excuse not to sign free agents when we have elite pitching. Like, if our pitching is one of the best in the league, go sign offensive players. This is the time to do it. We can't guarantee that our pitchers are going to be healthy. So many pitchers around the league have gone down with arm injuries, especially with the increased rate of the pitch clock from 18 to 15 seconds, even with runners on base. Everything's happening so rapidly, man. These guys are maxing out and hurting themselves. If we have healthy, elite pitching now, go add offense. I don't know. I'm sorry I'm going this far.
No, you're raising really good points.
This is the time to do it. We can't guarantee everyone's going to stay healthy when we have an elite rotation.
Yeah, there's a lot of issues with the stadium. And don't get me wrong, going to the stadium is not a terrible experience. I
think it's great. It's fun.
I love it.
Yeah, it's a great place. It's beautiful, especially if you go up to the 300 level, like before the games and stuff. You get the view of the water and
West
the
Seattle.
ferries.
Same thing as the product on the field, though. Even when we're getting wins, we're gonna complain about it.
Yeah.
But there is
Stadium's great.
there is a lot
You
of
want some critique though? We got that too.
there is a lot of issues with the stadium. Like, for example, the concession stands. One, the concession stands move unbelievably slow, and the fans, the way the like concourse is set up is that, so here is a food stand and the line goes out and people are trying to walk
Into the
through.
walkway.
Yeah. And it creates bottlenecks and it's difficult to maneuver. The team or the stadium has done some things to rectify that. So, for example, they've really been pushing the like Amazon grab and go, which is really, really cool. It is. I mean, you are in and out. You literally scan your credit card to walk in and there's cameras and you just grab whatever you want and walk out and it registers what you buy. And, you know, you can go into kind of like Big Brother surveillance. That's a whole other can of worms.
Yeah.
But it is effective and it's really quick. And they have some deals in there. You can get the value dogs in there. They had them this game too.
They have the double Mitchwich at the one. I think it's just on the third base side of home plate down there. And yeah, those grab and go places seem really efficient and good. And I haven't used them yet, but I'm about to next time because I'm tired of standing in lines. And I'm going to go get the double Mitchwich and give a review.
There you go. Yeah. We're a food review channel now.
Hell
no,
yeah.
no, but seriously, you should get one
Oh, I will.
and try
It
it.
seems fun.
But yeah, the stadium,
It seems fun.
Yeah, it's fun,
Sandwich.
man. No,
fun little sandwich.
but both halves of the sandwich are a different sandwich, boy.
Oh, it's like two
Yeah, you're
sandwiches.
2-in-1, dude. Double Mitch.
The future.
You can do that.
One's like a Cuban sandwich, and one's like a chicken bacon rancher. I don't
flatbread
know.
thing,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's gonna be.
Wouldn't
cool,
that
man.
make more sense if one of the guys was Cuban? It's
It-
just
it
like
would.
two guys from like
Have you ever had a
Southern
Cuban
California.
sandwich, dude? They're good no matter what they're called. It's Swiss, pickles, ham, and pork, dude.
Lost
ham
me at
and pork.
pickles.
Ham and pork.
Ham and pork. That's
And I
what
don't
really
know,
sells it.
two meats or something. Anyway, it's a great sandwich. I'm gonna have one and let you know. What do you think about Julio, though? I mean, is he just a notoriously slow starter or what? He's had 3 slow starts in a row now.
Well, his rookie year was when the umpires were literally campaigning to screw him over.
It seemed that way.
Was that not last year?
No, it was his rookie
That's
year.
2 years ago?
It was his rookie year because Scott,
Time's flying.
it is. Scott wrote a letter to the league and was like, this is ridiculous. I mean, the first 2 months of the season of Julio's rookie year, he had been rang up on more like outside the zone pitches than anyone in baseball. And it was kind of like, oh, they got this new hot shot kid. We're going to humble him.
It was blatant.
And that's bullshit. And
He had a good eye.
and it took Scott writing a letter to the league to be like, hey, stop, let the kid play. And after he did that, we noticed practically overnight
It got better.
the zone changing for Julio.
It's true.
And so rookie year, okay, we'll chalk it up to shitty umpiring. That literally took a letter to the league.
That's fair, I
to make
think.
change. Second year, World Baseball Classic,
Sophomore slump.
True.
World Baseball Classic, sophomore slump. Two things that,
And his sophomore slump went pretty well. Just saying.
yeah, it
After
did.
a slow start.
Yeah.
And then third year, I mean, this year is the first, I would say, no holds barred, slow start for him.
So we've got Rookie of the Year season. We've got MVP top 5 season. And now we've got slow start
season
/ veteran Julio needing to turn it on to carry his team. This is the thing. Like, when Julio goes, this team goes. I've said this so many times. This has become a mantra for me now.
We spent
talking
all
about
last
the
year, all
Mariners.
last season saying that.
And it's true, man.
Yeah.
It's true. So when he turns into a monster, this team turns into a juggernaut. You know what I mean? This team like can't go wrong when that guy's on. And he hasn't been. So he's striking out a lot. He's very aggressive. His stance looks
he's
different.
swinging, man. The kid swings the bat.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he
And
wants
please
to
do.
swing out of his shoes every single time. When if he can just focus on his line drives. I mean, his line drives are up this season.
Yeah, he's hitting pretty much only line drives, like effective
Honestly,
hits or
good.
line drives. Yeah, and that's a great place to start. And up the middle, too.
We
He's
don't
not
need
really
40
pulling or
bombs
pushing
out of
the ball.
Julio. It would be awesome. But that should not be his like main focus, which is what it looks like
agree.
every time he's at bat. He's going yard. He's trying to, and he
think
strikes out.
At
a
least
lot.
with one pitch in his at bat, he might be trying to boost one.
Sure.
I do see, like you're saying, he's very aggressive. He's not willing to work a walk because he knows what kind of damage he can do when he does swing. And that's what makes me say, like, yeah, please swing the bat. But
Right.
But how
Okay.
about let's make better pitch decisions, you know what I
Yes.
mean? And work counts and get in
Yes.
the pitcher's head, like a Juan Soto-esque, like, fear of the batter, which is kind of where you're going with this. Like, I think he's a little bit too aggressive, you know? He needs to be able to work an at bat, get in the pitcher's head, read a pitcher. His stance has been different. His bat isn't getting the right path to the plate. You know, he's kind of late on his contact, even when it's strong contact, and that's why he's pretty much putting the ball up the middle all the time. And like, he's not able to jump on a pitch out front and keep it fair. He'll hit it foul, or he's not able to like keep his hands back and get through a ball to hit it oppo. He kind of like he'll slice it off and foul it off, and it's tough to see. He's not able to get his hands and his bat path in the right position to do the damage, and I think he'll get there, but he has a couple adjustments to make, and I think he's already been trying to make adjustments, and he's frustrated. But we need him to be cool and calm and collected and go up there and do what he does best and be himself. Because when he just needs to see a pitch out of the hand and hit the ball. There's too much going into his head. There's too much. I think just let the kid be himself, be patient, and he'll come around and make the adjustments he needs to. I trust that his talent is there.
One of the notes I took on Julio was that he seems to think that like being the superstar is coming up big time in the big time moments with a massive home run and da 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 da. When reality, what a superstar does is they do the little things constantly. And it almost seems like he's looking for the one big moment when that's not being a superstar. Being a superstar is the clutch base hits, the working the count when you need it. I mean, look at how much credit we give JP for taking like walks in important situations and like moving the train along and, you know, next one up and that kind of thing. And Julio seems to want to be that guy, like, oh, I'm going to hit the mammoth home run and I'm going to be all over ESPN. It's going to be popular and stuff like that, when consistency is key to being a superstar. And Julio is a superstar. I mean, rookie of the year, MVP votes in his second year. He starts off slow and he figures it out. He puts up such good numbers throughout the year, especially like second half of the season or, you know, coming off of the start. But if he just does the little things more consistently, that is what being a true superstar is.
Yeah, I agree with you that those moments maybe get a little bit too big for him, and it'll take time for those moments to be. He'll grow into them better, you know. He has to mature into them. He has too much adrenaline kicking at those moments right now. He's still young, but the more of those moments he gets into, the more maturity we'll see from him. And I trust that he's focused on the game and playing his best game. He's not a guy that is like out there just fucking around. You know what I mean? He's a guy that puts in the work, puts in the time. I think he's smart enough and has the talent to make those adjustments. And I'd like to see those adjustments
happen
tomorrow,
quicker. Yeah.
Right, 6:40 tonight. Let's see him put one over the wall. He has 0 home runs this year.
Yep.
Through 14 games. It's tough to see that. he's not putting the ball in the air. And I think it does have a lot to do with his change of stance. His hands aren't getting in the right place to put the ball in launch mode, but he'll get there real soon. Just the same way that Luis Castillo's slider isn't working. It's Julio's bat path isn't working. He'll make the adjustment here soon and start putting them up in the air and for damage.
Well, when he had his first career walk-off last week, 2 weeks ago, whatever.
Yes.
That was a veteran at bat. He had the chance. He didn't swing out of his shoes, waited for his pitch, didn't try to do too much with it, and just poked it into right center for the walk-off. And, he can do it. He's ever growing. He's learning. He's getting to it. And, there's a lot of positives with this Mariners team. 6-8 is not that bad of a record. The Astros are garbanzo beans.
Better than the Astros, and that's pretty good.
That is important.
Now we need to be better than the Rangers.
Yeah, and I mean, the Marlins, at one point were 1-11. Their whole pitching staff is just decimated too. They're injured like crazy. But 6-8 in 14 games, that's not that bad. And
it's not. It's not as bad as it's looked. It's felt bad, especially if we eke out a terrible win. Even if we won 6-1, we put up 5 runs in the 10th inning. It was still 9 innings of terrible baseball. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And even when we scored 1 run with the bases loaded, it's hard to be happy about that, but we'll take it. We ended up winning that game too, and the wins don't feel like great wins yet, except for Friday's win with Bryce Miller on the mound back at home. The boys are really put a game together, and I'd love to see more of that.
I would say that was Julio's best game of the season because he wasn't doing the most.
Sure.
And do you guys think it's interesting? We have 3 National League series in a row. I know that since they've changed the dynamics of the schedule and
more common,
everyone plays everyone, but it is weird to we're wrapping up we're in game 2 with the Cubs tonight. It's as we're recording this, it's about to start in a half hour. And then Cincinnati Reds come to town, then another Thursday off day, and then off to Colorado. So 3 National League teams in a row. That just seems a little odd, but I guess that's kind of the changing of the schedule, which I am all for.
It's still new.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the second year that we see more National League teams. We play every team every year, and this year the Reds come here, right? So last year we went to the Reds stadium and played them there, and this year they come here. I think that's how it works. But also, that'll be our homestand. The schedule's a little bit weird. We're only going on shorter homes off. I don't know. Later in the year, I think there'll be 3 city road trips and 3 team homestands. But it seems a little quick these first few to kind of get everyone in the regularity of traveling and get teams around. We have the Cubs and Reds at home, and then we're going to Colorado for 3.
Let's boost some high altitude homers, bro.
Let's get it going.
Julio's gonna hit 3 home runs in Colorado.
If we can't hit in Colorado, we just flat out can't hit, and that'll be depressing. So let's get some going up there.
Let's do it. Let's get some hits. Let's get some bombs. Let's get some more wins.
Let's go to some games this week. The Reds are in town. There's a Wednesday afternoon game I'm thinking about going to. So if you see me, now that you can see me on YouTube, if you see me at the game, I'll buy you a beer. I will. I'm planning on going to that game so far.
Last Wednesday game you went to,
no
bueno. That was
George Kirby's blow up game.
Yeah, that was atrocious.
I left before the 7th inning stretch.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, but I'm planning on going, so catch me at the game Wednesday afternoon, boys.
Come say what's up.
Ladies, everybody.
Well, thank you all so much for joining us for another week. Always doing our best to keep you the most informed Mariners fans in the universe. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll be back next week with more Mariners news. Thank you all, and go Mariners!